Up. This can go over there. Go over there. This can go over there. Super organized. All right, so there is an issue with the letter tool I want to fix, but let's see where we are. All right, we're on master branch with the pen tool, right? So the pen tool has an issue right now where if I have something selected and then change to the pen tool. All right, I saw that in the stream today. Is that not a problem anymore? So imagine I go here and I do a 1, 2, 3 here. And then I change to pen tool. No. So I had an issue where, second, the audio is a bit weird. Where with a cell selected, switching to the pen tool entered something there, as if a key was being pressed. Okay, I don't see it happening here anymore. Let's just restart this. So let's put in some, let's enable the pen tool first. And switch to the pen tool. Nothing. Is this only happening on mobile? So maybe it's something to do with touch events. Can I make this a bit bigger? So if I'm here, and I'm putting a 1 and a 2, and then I switch. No. Go here. No. So I've had several times something happening where it, I have to literally check on my phone now because it happened just earlier today when I did today's puzzle for Simon, with Simon. Actually, let me just go here. So it should be, let me just open the one I played earlier. Okay. So it was the moth. Let's first check if it happens on app. So if I go here, put in a 1. Okay, doesn't happen. If I go here, no. Actually, I don't know how to replicate. It doesn't happen all the time. Nope. Maybe it only works on the test site, or only happens on the test site. Let me check on the test site quickly. It happened quite often, but it didn't happen exactly every time. So it could be that something else has to happen first to kind of break the behavior. So on the test site, it happened. What's it called? Just do the moth, is that it? Yeah. So if I go here, if I enable the pen tool. You saw that? All right. So here it's happening. Let's see if it happens on desktop as well. I go here. Nope. Go here. Okay. And if I do it in touch mode, it could be that it's some sort of phantom touch event. Ah, if I'm going from off screen to the app. I see. Huh. All right. Let's see if we can replicate this on our local version. So if we go here, let's disable the replay tool. So if we come from here and then click to here, nothing. Now if we do it with touch, we select it here, come from here and then click to here. So it's related to coming from off screen. All right, so I'm gonna add a few handlers for events just to log out what handlers are running. So this should fall under input handlers, despite being obviously touch events and all that. And it probably hits the do digit thing. So it kind of triggers an action there. Let's see. No, it should hit the pen tool directly. So in this case, it triggers some kind of click event handler, maybe not necessarily click cell. So let's just log these out and see which of these are getting triggered. Okay, so we'll start here, we go here, we go off screen. So it gets an input up event. I think the problem is that we're selected and we shouldn't be having any selections, right? And we're not even using the enter tool thing here. The enter tool events. So handle enter tool enter. Let's just put this underneath here. And log these out as well. And we'll do a, I think it's app.selected cells or app.puzzle.selected cells. Okay. All right. Okay, go here, off, and switch. It doesn't trigger handle tool enter. That is bizarre. Handle input down. Handle input down. But we're clearly switching to the tool. Handle tool enter. Is it because we're not binding the handlers there? So we have this and we have handler name. Nope. Seriously, you just closed the file on me like that? God damn it. Seriously. Alright, that's what we wanted. So refresh, go here, select there, unfocus, handle tool, exit handle, pen, handle tool, enter. So it's calling. It's literally calling this here. Handle, tool, enter. Ah, wait, I'm an idiot. Okay, it's already there, and I just overwrote it. I'm an idiot. So I think the easiest thing to do there is to just clear the selection at that point. Go here, unfocus. Wind is picking up outside, I might have to close the awning. Boom, handle tool, enter, selection cells. And then because we're getting a handle input up and we have a selection, it doesn't actually verify that the input up happens on top of the selected cells. That's a bit terrible. It's asking me for freaking chimneys to view the chat of the stream I'm currently streaming into. It's a bit silly. So handle input up does not come from the tool exec handler, interestingly enough. So that's some sort of... Ugh. Let's have a quick look at this. Tool exec handler. Let's see why it might not want to use that. It could just be older code, right? If tool. Yeah, I think we should be using that there. I hope the event handlers aren't doing anything weird there. Tool.handle. Because currently input up and down aren't cancelable. Maybe they should be. Maybe they shouldn't be. I'm not sure. I mean, it would be consistent behavior at least. And it would also mean this functionality can be moved into a tool, basically. Okay. That doesn't actually fix the problem that we have, though. Okay, so I go down here and I click that, and it fires the input up. The question is, why does it think... So it executes click cell basically, and click cell here finds the closest, but it doesn't make sure that the mouse is within a reasonable distance either. So let's have a quick look at these. So it could be just that we're improving these, so pressing an arbitrary button. So, I mean, we still want to remove the selection, but you know, if we can make it even better, more better, go here and press there. Selected cell, cell distance. So these are calculated very closely. And I think the problem is that input position here was set on the last mouse down event, and the mouse up event doesn't reset it. So we're getting an input up event without the input down event, and it basically doesn't give us the correct information because it gets the information from the previous most recent up event, or down event even. So the problem is that we're getting an up event without the down event. All right. And it doesn't know that we haven't clicked there, so we cannot use the position actually. The position is basically pointless here. Okay. So one fix here would be to make sure we're tracking the mouse as it's leaving the space, right? We could also update input position on movement. So if we look at input pause equals pause equals XY, handle input down, input pause. So handle input move. So when I release, it no longer tracks the input move events. Even though maybe we'd want to update the position. I mean, the other thing would be to say we could, on up, we could just unset the input pose, set it to undefined and check for that. I think, are we handling blur and focus? Blur, focus out, handle blur. And we have the handle cancel here. Handle cancel. So if I'm here, let's just reset this for a second. Clear this. I click here and I go down here. We get a blur event. And then if I go here, we get a tool enter. Doesn't the tool enter follow from so where does the change tool come from? Doesn't that come from some sort of mouse event? It should. Go here, go here. No, it's I need to do something. We have to set up some scenes for BRB and all that. Okay, so change tool happens twice. Why does change tool get executed from handle blur? Ah, okay. Ah, it just resets the temp tool. Okay, fair enough. And then pen falls, handle button. So the button handler fires, but the mouse down doesn't. Handle button. Where does that come from? I mean, sure. Go here, come back in. So this happened every time I messed around with the UI on my phone, basically toggled away from it. Wait a second, does that work in this view as well? If I clear this, click here, and then click here. So it only is a problem with the touch events. Handle button. Change tool. Wait. Let's do this again. So we're here. This is cleared. We're getting input move events. We get a handle button here. The event is a mouse down, but it's not telling me where it's coming from. Handle button. Button. Handle button. Handle input down. Mouse down, handle input down, handle input up. Okay, dot handle button. Add handler, mouse down, touch start. Mouse down, touch start, passive false. Handle input down. Oh, it's lowercase. And handle input down. Oh. We should probably change that if it's used anywhere. Make it sure these are all the same. That we don't mix our terminology. Up, up, up. All right. I wonder if that mix is actually what's causing me not to see the events. Handle button, mouse down, change. This is bizarre because as far as I can tell... Ah, no, wait, here's the input down. Wait a second. Handle input down. Right, and then here, handle input move, handle input up. I mean, that should be the full-on version of that. Handle input up. It's probably a combination of when the tool is being changed. So it's probably that the down happens... Ah, wait, we're not even logging this out here. I'm still a tiny bit confused. Like, I know how to fix it, but I'd like to fully understand what's going on here. So we have a handle input down. we have a change tool. So the input down is happening. So we have an input down with the previous tool. Oh, that's why the down and up are like the change of tool is happening between the down and the up. That's the problem. All right. Huh. It should really pair those up. Like, it shouldn't send the down to the next tool if the up was on the previous tool, right? And the tool should just not... I was going to say, the tool should just not pay attention to events that are happening outside, you know, the thing, but because the down... Wait, but then the down was inside the board. Did the down not update the input position? So input down here, input pause. So technically, this should be the correct input position. Go here, click this, clear all of this, so, and then click this. Handle input down. Now we didn't get a handle input down. Handle input up. Handle input down. Why is this not firing? Ah, finally we have an input down here. But we had no input downs up there. Ah, what the heck is going on here? So if I click here. The check input is happening. What is check input even checking? What is it checking for? Maybe some kind of timeout happening? There's something happening with check input causing it to do some screwy things. All right, let's hide the mouse move logging. It's just way too spammy. Okay, click here, clear. So we have a handle button, but we don't have the input down event. Why? Mouse down, touch start, handle input down. Is it that the button handler happens first and then cancels out? And cancels before the input stuff happens? But then the so we're handling the button on down. We're canceling the down propagation because we don't want to click through the button basically and create input events. But then the up propagates because it's not being handled by the button. That's kind of the problem, right? So if we're going to look at input down, and we'll look at event.current target, and we'll do the same thing for input up. Like this, I think that might reveal something. If we clear this and then we'll go and press this button, we have a mouse down event, change tool, exit mouse, handle button event, mouse down doesn't get triggered. And then we have an input up event, and the current target is this. Does that really make sense? All right, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I have a pretty good idea. There's a couple of things there that I'd like to improve, but I don't think I have the bandwidth right now to do so. So we're probably just gonna clean up our logging here. So 2, 5, 7, 8. 2, 5, 9 something. 3, 5, 16. And 3, 5, 4 something something. Just do these manually. And then we just, for now, for this tool, we can just clear the selection. That'll sort it out. 3, 5, 6, 1. Let's change this order again just to keep it the same as it was. That's fine. 3, 5, 9, 1, 3, 5, 9, 1. That should be an info. It should be the line below. And then we'll have, okay, so these are all using the tool exit handler, which I should have refactored back in the day when I built it. Back in the day, well, probably wasn't that long ago. And then 3, 9, 1, 8. And I think that's also an info. All right, so we just have these couple of handler refactors, be they two-liners or single-liners. Handle, drag, and actually I'm a bit about the drag, the end be capitalized, but anyway. All right, so let's go back to the tool and do our fix. So we obviously don't need that, don't need that, don't need, so I think tool enter is where we just deselect, right? Find.deselect. I'll just do this. Okay. And get rid of these. And those were renamed, and they should remain renamed. Okay. So now we shouldn't have any stray logging. And doing this and then coming back onto the button shouldn't do anything, even in touch mode. All right, so that seems to do that trick. All right. Yeah, that's something I just want to fix quickly today. So many patches on this version. But, you know, it's got like 20 minor version increments in it, so I really want to make sure this is as solid as I can make it before it goes live. And it's been testing in testing for months. Fix pen tool or stray post blur events. All right. pull out any updated puzzles. So I think the updates to the pen tool are complete with this. So yeah, there's the before unload stuff, because obviously I have a bit of a problem with Control W at the moment. So Control W cannot be stopped. So trying to use letters without pressing Alt, for example, is just, it's not going to happen. So I need to come up with something else there. All right. But I think the next step for me with the tool will be, oh yeah, I did that yesterday. I've got a new issues repo, but I think it needs a little bit more warming up and tidying up before I publish how we use it. I think with this we can go back to working on the editor. And the one thing I'd like to do is update the editor branch with the latest work from master, because it's been quite a few little fixes and updates and stuff, and there's some conflicts I'm gonna have to resolve, and I'd rather do it now than before it gets too crazy. Yeah, it's almost 10 version differences here. Before I do this, let's have a quick look at the diff. Is this a GitHub? Nope. So let's have a quick look. Difference with this handy compare tool. So we'll compare master into editor. All right, so obviously we have a bunch of the new puzzles. We have the edge pen tool stuff. We have clean puzzle package. Clean puzzle package. Wow, is that? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, some of the old shift stuff. Now with these I gotta be careful, because those are the ones I'm gonna have to merge in over and over, I think. Yeah, okay, this one we know about. And then what is all this? All right, let me just see. Wow, all of these were changed? Or am I looking at the wrong merge direction here? This way around it seems much fewer. Obviously we know that, is this merging editor into master then? Handle tool enter on tool pen 0.5. I hope the deselect doesn't mess with under redo. Ugh. Alright, I think we'll just risk it and see what happens. Worst case scenario, we just roll back the merge, right? So, make sure our status is clean. Alright, we're in the editor, so git merge no ff master. I'm gonna merge master into our editor branch, make sure it's all up to date, and then tidy up all the little conflicts that are gonna happen. Here we go. Took a while to figure out what the conflicts were. It's so annoying that now I have to do this and manually do all this stuff. Alright, so special thanks, it's been deleted. So this is scripts.js is going to be the biggest problem with conflicts. Well, let's start looking. what we got here? Oh, really? The color coding doesn't handle this? That sucks. Is there something? Sublime JavaScript syntax highlighting git diff. It supports git diff. My cable is twisted here. It's a pity it doesn't do those things. I mean, you'd think that's quite a standard. Yeah, all right. We're gonna have to look at this in more detail. So what did I change here? This is what we have, and what did... While cells.find row column parse RC value. So that's the same if cage value is not equal to undefined. Wow, cells find row column row r-1 column c plus I. So it's calculating the maximum. Ah, yes. Okay, it's looking for the maximum column. All right. But that's basically what it's doing. Fair enough. What do you remember when I put that in? But it's something I need for the editor, obviously. Tool input down end, tool input down event. Handle input down event. Yeah, we need to pass in the event here. And we obviously need to update the editor to take this handle input down, should be input down. And up is similarly spelled here. Just let's be consistent throughout. Oh my god, this goes through all the different classes. Forgot how complex this thing had gotten. Not wow, this is the third week that I've 2 full weeks I've not looked at the editor code base. I forget how much stuff there's in there. I mean, it's understandable, it's a complex thing, but man, I got really sidetracked. All right, so that should sort that one out. Find head. So this is just a new function, handle tool event forwarding. Fair enough. Why is this not highlighted correctly? Oh. Let's start from here. Yeah, those events, I have to add them to master. I mean, eventually this gets merged back into master as well, so. If to drive handle true, yeah. So that's, yeah, I should have done this differently. And I should have passed the event argument in here, just in case. So this is what used to be here. And I believe... Ugh. Ooh. No, that's fine. That's all the changes to the letter tool. Okay, yeah. We got rid of all of that because we changed how the letter tool operates. Okay, that's it, really? No? What's the other label that we see from time to time there? Ah, okay. No, here, we're still seeing one. Ah, because I haven't saved it, maybe? Okay, I think all the conflicts on master are gone. That's gone. Sudoku HTML has a conflict. What? Because toLetter got a style sheet? Is that it? Okay, that should fix all of those. And then toolpen has some conflicts. What did I... Ah, yeah, I must have updated something. We gotta be careful because the pen tool had a huge overhaul. So it's got a line reset thing, etc., etc. SVG render query soul height 0.5 head. This is coming in from master. Okay, this used to be 0.5. Don't know why it used to be 0.5. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh. And this line reset replaces all these deletes. Okay, that makes sense. And that's it. Alright, and... Oh no. What kind of conflict did we have here? We might have run update... Oh, geez. We might have run update puzzles on this branch, which we probably shouldn't have. Scripts. Oh my god, it's not even here. YT puzzles. Puzzle data. So, find... Ooh, it's struggling. Head. Master. Oh, because adding the comma to the last thing. Okay, fair enough. Don't even think this file is used, to be honest. Alright. Let's... Okay, we don't need that. Let's find a puzzle like this one where we can test. So I'm just gonna solve this quickly just to give it a basic Wait a second, where's the editor tool? Oh, we're not on local, never mind. Oh no. Oh no, it's already broken. Get already been declared. Get input RC. Oh, is this global somewhere else? Because we put it globally here instead of inside a closure. Often we're actually using it here. Twice. Alright. This is gonna be a bit of a pain to merge later. But that's just how it's gotta be. Probably shouldn't be global on the edit tool either. Maybe that's where I should be fixing it, to be honest. Okay, it's still completely broken. Oh, okay. Maybe that's just me. All right, so we have an editor. Okay, but can we just play the puzzle? Let's find out. Right, and these two are 1 and 5, and that's not a 5. All right, so we know there's a 5 here. Now we know these columns are pretty filled. The 9 isn't here. Let's just spam mark these. So that can't be a 5 or a 9. These can't be 8s, and this can be whatever it wants to be. And we have a similarly busy row here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Again, this can't be a 9, but it also cannot be a 1 and a 2, which makes it a 3. And well, that's that. So that puts a 3 up here. Over on this side. Oh, that gives us a 3. And that puts a 3 over here. So there's no 3 here, there's no 3 here. So that's the 3. And 3's over there. Okay, and 3's on the outside here. Fair enough. This one only has 3 left in the column now. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And I think the music is not looping. There we go. I think all these are operational. Was the stream playing with... I didn't get double audio. I didn't hear anything. One sec. If I unmute this. I didn't get... Oh, yeah. One sec. Okay. Mute this. Alright. Don't know what was going on there. Alright, let's finish this game so I can at least know the basics are working, you know? So that's the 6, 7, or an 8. That's not a 6 over here. 5, 6, and 9. Okay, that's a triple there. That means the rest go in here. 1, 2, and 4. Where that 4 goes there. 5, 6, 9. 5 is here, not here. 8 is on the outside here. Alright, and I think this is one where we're pretty close. Although, with that 5, 9 option in the center, or in the middle of this box, we have quite a few options on the outside here. What a 9, okay. This one has only got 4 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These aren't 2, so we know there's a 2 here, not there. And that's not the 2, so that's the 2. It's no 2 there. We have 4 here. And 4, 9 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 7, 8, and this can't be an 8 or a 7. 4, 9 in this cell over here. Oh, this one is almost done. Oh, no, 4. Just spotted this 4 here. So that takes the 9 out of these. Okay, and the remaining 3 are 5, 6, and 8. Alright. That's not 6. 5, 8, 6, 7. Alright. There's a spam bot. Welcome to the chat room over there on Twitch. Don't know what's going on here. Hey, Olima. Sorry, I didn't see your chats. Apparently, my restream chat is not working correctly. Let's see if it sends out, because this doesn't look right. Yeah, that showed up on Twitch, and it shows up on... Alright, sorry, your chats did not show up inside my restream chat. Yeah, the pen tool changes are on the test, not in production though. So the reason you're struggling, that's exactly why I made the update. I'm gonna just keep an eye on the YouTube's chat here because, it doesn't seem to update correctly for me. All right. Sorry if you've been waiting for a response. Oh, and of course YouTube doesn't have any timestamps on its chat, so I have no idea when that happened. All right, so there's a 4 down here. Oh, 5, 9 in this box. Can't be here. 5, 7, 8. And 3 needs to be... Ah, no, it could be here. All right, let's just... Oh, yeah. Okay, so now I cannot... That's one problem I have, is with my magic Alt-Shift hotkey. I need to change that. I need to update that so it can be used still. Although, I don't think anybody really uses it except me. But I've gotten used to relying on it a little bit. So let's see, ones can be here, here, or here. 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 Ah, but it can't be here. So the ones are 3 cells there. Let me see large digits, please. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are all the large ones. So no 9 and 6 here. So these have to be 5, 7, 8. Because they can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can't be 9 and 6. So then this can't be a 5, which makes the 5 over... What's the 5 over here? And these are 5, 7, 8 as well. Okay. So then these 3 are the remaining, 1, 2, and 4. That can't be a 2, it can't be a 1, that can't be a 4. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 9 at the top. The 6s are over here, so that can't be a 6. 8, 9, 6, 8. Yeah, alright, that all makes sense. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not a 2. It's not a 2, and not a 4. I mean, this is not a 1. Mm-mm. 7 is here. Interesting. That's not a 7. Oh, and these can't be 7s because of this 7. I'm literally just poking at it. So now the 5 8s are gone out of this, which puts a 6 here. Oh, nice. It takes a 6 out of there. Alright, 6s go here, and there, and up here. Okay. And the 7s go there, there, and 5s are over here. Not sure that's useful. 7, 8, 3, 7, 3, 9, 2, 4. I'm seeing a bunch of stray 3s all over the place. Might be worth looking at 3s a bit more closely. 3s are here, and then here. Didn't really learn much from that. Ah, wait a second. There's 2 to fill in. Excuse me, these can't be 9s. 1, 4, 2, 1. And it can't be a 2. 5, 6 there. 5, 8 here, so that's a 6. That's got to be a 2, 4 then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's got to be an 8. And the 8. So now we're only missing 6, 8, and 9. And I think 6 is forced into that cell. And it was forced to be... Uh-oh. Oh, no. Not 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 9. Yeah, I don't know why I said 8. My brain likes to count in continuity. So that can be a 7 now. Alright, that makes more sense. So 7 here. This 7 sees this. And then this 9 sees this. And this sees this. And that could be an 8 now. Or a 5, for that matter. Look, 9, 8, and 5. And this 9 kind of resolves those 2 rows over here. That's a 7. It's a 3 and a 9. A 3. And this is a 1 and a 2. And then down here we have 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And that can't be a 4. That can't be a 7. That can't be a 7. So that puts a 7 in the corner. And that can't be a 2 either. 1, 4, 1, 4. So that's the odd one out, which is the 3. And then these two are 1, 2, and 9. They can't be 9s because there's a 9 over on the left side. Alright, and these kind of resolve themselves pretty quickly. And we're almost done with an 8 here. This 2 doesn't do much. This is a 1. So now we have 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, and 1. Okay, now let's just make sure backspacing works. Ooh. But I forgot to have an editor here. Alright, that works. That works. Okay. So I think this is a good merge. Obviously, the editor isn't finished, so that's going to be a bunch of work. Okay. I think that's it. Why does it do that? It doesn't refresh the list of files that have changed. So you commit your changes, and it says, oh, by the way, there's another file I forgot about. God damn it. All right. So now we can start thinking about the editor again. And I'm trying to remember, did we have... So this is all ongoing. I can just, don't need to remind myself of all of this. Progress along line. Was I using that for the pen tool? Yes. Those I might still need. That's for the interview later today. Oh my god, the file storage stuff. This is from January. I still have files open for that. Yeah. All right. So let's have a look at the pen tool. Today I'm not gonna push hard to make progress. It's more like refamiliarizing myself with the code base because it's been so long. So let's have a look at this, right? So we wanted component type filters for this list. Fair enough. Add components, create new component. And currently selected type or current filter type. So we got to figure out how we're adding new elements. Right now I haven't even thought about starting from scratch, right? Overlay inspector. So overlays here, we have some basic tools, so I can say, oh, this should be an 8.5. But I don't think, they're not editable. Okay, so maybe that's something we can start with. Thinkers, right, command, stack, touch education issues. Don't snap points that aren't actively edited. What do I mean by that? Don't snap points that aren't actively... Oh, yeah. So when I move the whole thing, and some of the points aren't snapped, it would snap all of them. Yeah, you see this point at the bottom snapped. That's maybe something we can look into. It's not super trivial, but it's a smallish fix. So I think the font size is a bit small for the stream. Why do I have an... Oh, views are going away on Twitch. Fair enough. All right, so we need to figure out where this is happening. So we're going to look at the line component. Oh, I hate the freaking... Alright, so it's going to be 4, level 4. And we'll go look at the line component. And I'm guessing this is what's going to move the component. Animate, input, move. I'm guessing. So select this and... Alright. Handle, input, move, line component, move component. So we have two choices. We don't snap at all when we're moving. Or we're snapping the move delta. So all points get moved by move delta amounts. I think that's basically what we want to do. So instead of this line, basically, we want to snap the move delta. And basically, we might not even want to do this in here either. But move component, we do want to make this in here. All right. So let delta equals to draw RC move delta. And then we can do move delta, move delta, delta. So that should just give us the rounded version of it, right? Okay. And then instead of doing this, over here, we're going to do R plus delta. Like that. So now if I grab this, still snaps, but it snaps relative to the mouse movement, right? So whichever corners were snapped previously will remain snapped. And anything that wasn't snapped previously won't suddenly magically snap. And if I move one, it's still... So this one, for example, you see it shifted a little bit. So I can't... One of these isn't... Yeah, you see this point is not... So if I... It's not what I want to do. If I move this one, it'll snap now. I can't put it... Like, it's a slightly different place now. I think. Yeah. Alright, that does it. That's exactly what I wanted. Small change. And we can do a few of these little small fixes. Yeah, done. Overlays. Multiple thermal bulbs aren't organized correctly. Yeah. Show line point handles on hover. Show line point handles on hover. Maybe we can do that. So the idea is, if I select it, I get these little circles on the corners. But when I'm hovering over a different line, I don't get that. And it's not trivial because of which parts do the hovering. And the hovering effect doesn't actually give us the opportunity sort of to add lots of visual elements and stuff. Because we can't just draw circles. We need to actually add circle elements to the whole thing, right? But let's see. Let's see where it all happens, right? So we have apply styles, which is definitely a place that is used for hovering. So there's a apply style, right? It's one way of detecting if we're getting hovered. And that's probably where we have to do it. So what if we just do something like if apply style, so pref style, current style, sure. So if we do apply style, pref style, car style. And basically all we care about is, are we selected or not? Apply style, hover. Now this is one select. So I hover here, undefined hover, and this one isn't doing anything. So we cannot get to hover from a selected style. And then we'll just do the same thing as here, but for hover instead of selected. So that's a hover, and that's an unhover. And then here we should be able to attach our handlers, etc. Unexpected token else. No. Don't you do that. Hover, unhover, hover, unhover. Okay. Hover, unhover. This, oh, the green line is from the pen tool. Yeah, okay. All right. So if we do attach handles on hover and then detach handles on unhover, we're kind of getting the handles, right? Oh, and it is actually giving us the hover style. Reading 0. Cannot read properties of undefined. Okay, so that's interesting. Because it gets that first event thing. True. Interesting. So we probably, if we're attaching the handle on hover, I'm just trying to think. So if we're attaching the handles on hover, we don't need to attach them on selected. And is there an easy way of detecting when handles are attached? Because this is per element, right? So we could do if is not equal to undefined, break. So we don't need to detach them. They don't exist. I mean, attach them. Return. So if I select this, nope. A hover here. It doesn't like that. Cannot read property of undefined. Reading 1. Handle. Update point handle. Point state for each line component. Update props. Move component. I don't even know why move component kicks in here. Because the handles are... The move component happens at a higher level. And they don't have anything to do with this level. Drag point undefined. Let's see what it does with first event. I'm trying to remember what I... It's a very hacky thing. First event. In fact, I don't find anywhere else. So maybe we don't need that at all. Attach handles. Attach handles, attach handles. Okay. Now if I do this, attach handles. So boom, attach handles, detach handles, attach handles. So if because I think what happens is we're switching straight from hover to select. Yeah. Apply style hover select. Okay. So if hover. Let's review, right? So we want to hover if we're not currently hovering, if we're not currently attached. So if previous style does not include, so if not dot includes ref style, and this would be hover or selected, and so let styles with handles. So if styles with handles, if the previous style is not included and the next style or the current style is included, then we want to attach handles. And then else if the previous style includes handles and the next style doesn't include handles, we want to detach handles. And we don't care if it's hover or selected, right? So boom, now it's selected. Boom. Okay, so the problem then becomes, what the frick? What's going on here? Attach handles, detach handles. Apply style selected, undefined. What? Wait, what? Apply style, selected, undefined. Probably want to output these two things as well. So what happened here? Actually. So what happened here? We got a hover, which went from false to true. We attached handles. Then we got a selected, which went from true to false. So this apply style, though, is from this one up here, detach handles, right? And then we did not get an attach handles down here. I'm wondering if the detach handle is detaching more handles than there should be being detached. I think what's happening here is that we're not keeping track of our own handles and we're just removing all of them. So instead of doing this, right? So these are all the children, but we actually have a list of our own. So we can look at these. Basically. And maybe just remove our own stuff. That works fine. Yeah. So instead of doing this, instead of doing this, we're gonna do this dot point handles dot for each, and the grid handles is just type path. So we can do this and then do a similar thing for grid handles. Oh, I was in the wrong place. So we can just do this, dot remove. Right, don't do this, don't do this. And we'll do this. Okay. And that works as well. That's exactly what we want. Okay, that looks good. And we don't need to do this. I don't know if we want to clear out the editor handle if it's empty. So we can, well, I mean, we could say, right? No, we don't actually, because we don't remove it here either in the original code. We're just removing all its children, right? So it just depends on us, on the other code being correct, which is fine. If it's not correct, we'll need to fix it anyways. So let's see. So this becomes simple-ish. Not very complex, really. First event true disappears. This just gets moved around a little. And move that to the top, maybe. Handles element. We don't even use that now. Actually, we don't even use this either. I mean, we could guard these. But for now, we're actually guarding it down here, so that's fine. By guarding, I mean, we could just check if this is defined or not before we execute remove on it, because it'll fail if it's not. And so detach handle becomes simpler. Grid handles is not equals undefined return. Like that's basically the guard I was talking about, but this is basically already guarding from it. So for now, that should actually work just the same. All right, and if we test with something with a little more variety in its lines, right? So by showing off ahead of time, because that's an arrow, okay. So arrows don't have this treatment just yet. Yeah, I haven't solved the arrow problem yet. Like, this would be one way of arranging things in this circumstance to make things a little bit easier to see. So you could shuffle the thermals off to one edge and then move the center line, the exclusion line here. And you could, yeah, no, if you move that to the bottom edge like that, that looks fine, right? Then you don't have that overlapping issue. All right, so that's pretty good. So that's another item from this to-do list. Show line point handles on hover. Done. Yeah, that's actually a good way of getting back into the code, to have all these little elements. All right, so multiple thermal belts are unorganized. Sure. Should cages overlap? Who knows, right? Cell delete should happen after short delay before mouse up. Why? We need something with cages. You have some sort of problem with cages. So, if I do this, cell delete should happen after short delay before mouse up. Why? Why? I don't know why I thought that was necessary. I mean, I don't know, it could not, maybe it's not relevant anymore? Should happen after short time was before mouse up. Maybe just because it feels weird to hold it down for so long. So this is just like a little minor improvement type situation. Did I? Yes. Why does it see this as removed and this added? Did I change? Oh, because I changed the spelling. All right. Add line point on hover. Point handles on hover. I mean, that's really just a small visual thing. So, can we make it so the cell adding happens a little bit quicker? Because you might be holding down and waiting for the cell to add and think it's like a whole thing, like with the lines, and then it's just completely different, right? Handle input move. Oh yeah. So on input down, it doesn't happen. We don't really do anything. Input up, we do this. So what we could do is we could say something like set interval something 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 250 milliseconds console.warn at rem cell. So if I select this and then go here, and it should only set timeout. Should only happen once, of course. Alright, so I think it's showing chat now, but it didn't do earlier when Tom showed up. Let's check Discord chat, just in case I'm missing something. So, no. Screw those intervals, right? So. Oh, did I not save it? So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens here. Manager set and input up. Manager set hover this. Okay, that's if the cell gets added. Manager.set hover. Manager.set hover. That's doing add cell and remove cell. Okay, that doesn't really affect anything because we have the select styling here. All right, so this dot cell hold timeout ID. So then here we can do clear timeout. So it should never happen if I just click. But if I hold it, it eventually will happen. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at these things then. And what else am I looking here? Cell paint mode. Get inputs. What? That seems a little dumb. Well, let's see what that returns. And then here, how do we know if we're adding or removing? Just from cell paint mode, huh? Cell paint mode. And where's cell paint mode being manipulated? On move. Oh, okay. Ah, yeah, alright, so that makes sense. Cell paint mode false. So if cell paint mode is false, we'll remove, otherwise we'll add. So instead of like this basic bit, I can just merge it into a toggle cell function. So we can say p.toggle cell equals function. Right? So then what I'm gonna do is something like this. Something like this. And then we can do let's just pull all this stuff out. Like that. Like that. And then we can say equals get input cell. All right, and then instead of doing this, we're just gonna do this.toggle cell get input cell. And then it determines what's gonna happen. So handle input up. This.toggle cell, maybe I didn't save it. So on the first click, it doesn't trigger. That's a bit weird. Drag, stop, handle, whatever. All right. Toggle cell. Cell paint mode is false. Why is cell paint mode false? Why is cell paint mode false? Doesn't it get set to true? Oh, that's strange. What the heck? Let's get rid of this timeout for a second, because I think this might be confusing the hell out of me. Cell paint mode is not defined. Right, sure it isn't. So is hit true, cell paint mode is false. Get input cell. Get input cell is a cell. And this hit is both. This is true. Cell paint mode. This is true. It becomes false. Why the what? Cell paint mode is the inverse of. So it's true when I'm clicking here. Ah, okay. So cell paint mode is true. That's yeah. Okay, I'm a silly fool. So we have an input cell, and it's true that the cell is equal to the input cell. that's actually not what we care about here. Here we only care about the cell paint mode. Interesting. So we kind of can literally just copy this over. We're just putting that piece of code into the toggle function. So if I click here, toggles. And right now I cannot delete by dragging. Fair enough. Okay. So if I now call the toggle cell thing in our little timeout handler here, instead of doing all of this rubbish, and I can just pass in the cell here, like that. I mean, the hover thing doesn't necessarily make sense. But for now, that doesn't make a difference. So we shall ignore it. Hey, NFS shield. NFS held. One day I will not see that as shield. Hope you're doing something interesting. To be honest, one of the worst things about streaming is that I can't watch other people do work while I'm streaming. Or what I like to watch is like Jesse Cox playing, you know, long plays of something like Elden Ring or something like that. Just like games where not a lot happens for hours at a time, which I can just tune out. All right, so. Okay, so the problem is if this kicks in, the up event will toggle it again. It won't do in the other direction because it doesn't handle the cell paint mode the same way. So this should really be set on mouse up, I think. Yeah, I cannot paint erase because it'll move the item. Man, that reminds me of when I was working in the game studio and I had to clean up some code for games. I used a finite state machine tool that I built years and years ago, and it really simplified, you know, making sure you're doing the right thing, and especially doing, I think it was for asynchronous multiplayer in Facebook instant games. And eventually I got to the point where I was drawing I got a tool where I could... I'm trying to remember. No, I did the other way around. I got a tool that took my JavaScript code, turned it into some sort of diagramming language that some other tool could understand, that then generated a diagram for the documentation as a PNG or something. But I realized I could go the other way around as well. Draw a diagram and then generate the code from that. Fun times, fun times. Okay, so that does the job. I don't think... Do we still need to toggle? Yeah, so the paint mode takes care of that. It'll toggle faster if I click, but if I hold it, it'll also do it eventually. And I think 250 milliseconds is just short enough that it makes you not realize it's happening on down. Now, I don't remember why I didn't want it to happen on down in the first place, to be honest. Oh, maybe that's why. Ooh, okay. That's still something we have that screws up. So if I move it if I move it too late, so we have to stop it being able to move when that kicks in, basically. So we have two options. We somehow prevent movement from happening here, or we undo. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. So the drag stop. We call drag stop here. Drag was dragged. This was dragged. Drag stop. The question is, if I do this and then start dragging, I don't want drag to kick in and it won't. In fact, yeah, it already won't. If I click here and then drag. So I think we want to this.drag stop. We literally want to do that here in this timeout handler. Yeah, and on the other hand, on handle input move, we want to kill the timeout as well. And I think that should clean it all up. And that's why I had the up down. So you basically only have 250 milliseconds to draw. If you hold it for too long, it'll just remove the cell. So you can't just tap it and then think about where you're gonna move it. So we might want to make this a little bit more sluggish. 1, 2. That's the thing. 1. 400 milliseconds. It's kind of right on the edge. So, where are we gonna put this? C.cell toggle delay. Do we want to call drag stop on toggle cell? I mean, we call it here. Oh, my stomach is growling. What time is it? Oh, it's 1:15. That's why my stomach is growling. It's lunchtime. Drag stop returns true if we were dragged and false otherwise. So I think we can do the same thing here, which means we're always doing it when we're calling toggle cell. I don't think we need to execute drag stop here. Ah, we do, because the mouse is going up, sure. We probably want to do this, and then not that. Cell holds. So then we probably want to do handle move, and we might want to do handle cell hold, something like that. I mean, it's a simple, tiny, simple function. But at least we can just reference it here, like that. Okay, I think that's it. So we can do this. We can do this. Also, after I moved it, it will not suddenly manipulate the cells. If I move right away, it starts drawing right away. And if I click, it happens instantly as well. The only difference now is that... Uh-oh. I think I shouldn't disable it on any movement. I should disable it on drag start. Did this fire drag start? Warm. I don't think that fire drag start, right? Oh, it did. Or not? Alright, I think I know where to do with that. Well, to be honest, it's actually not that complex at the moment because I managed to separate it quite massively, right? So the base component is the only thing that kind of deals with this stuff. And the inputs don't really conflict with each other too much. One regret I have is that a lot of this code I already implemented in the main app. So the main app has a similar management, and I'm kind of regretting that I don't have a better API to kind of reuse that code. Sort of, like you said, a state machine for the input. Also, part of this project was kind of to stay library to have as few dependencies as possible. I don't know why. I just started with that mindset, and now I hate bringing in any of my... I mean, I already brought in my portable events, just because I've used this. It's so small, and I've used it so many times. And similar, I have, you know, some open source code, not here, for an FSN. I think it's called Portable FSN? Something like that? Maybe? Yeah, that's the base code of the finite state machine, and it works really nicely, and I've used it in a lot of projects. But basically, the main app code, what it does that I'm gonna be really missing is it kind of centralizes handling of certain customizable values, right? So, for example, you have it automatically manages double tap versus long tap and so on and so forth, and the underlying touch device stuff. How long do you have to press until it's long tap? How far do you move the cursor before it's considered a movement? You know, the dead zone handling. So this is so like if you double tap, how far are you allowed to move the cursor between taps to still consider a double tap, etc., right? And you know, I don't think I actually use double input for many things, but I think, but that's the thing, right? Like double input is automatically mapped to a long press for mobile compatibility and so on and so forth. And all of this should really go into its separate place and then get reused everywhere, right? And here, yes, it feels like I'm re-adding some of that same functionality. And of course, you know, suddenly one delay here is 400 milliseconds, over there it's 500, right? Like, obviously one of them will work better than the other, and there's no reason to have different delays, right? And it'll make the user experience a little bit, you know. And in fact, I should probably just use this. Current input timeout, MS. Current input timeout. The problem is it's been a long time, and I don't fully remember exactly which one is used for what. Current input timeout. Handle input timeout, current input. Handle input timeout. Current input equals none. Yeah, so some of this stuff, for example, handles some bullshit that the browsers do with different types of inputs and double presses and sending two events for one event, you know, one mouse event and a touch event, and not sending the correct events and all this stuff. Which is even more so a reason I should bundle this up in a separate place and then reuse it properly. I think for now I'm gonna just reuse this guy. So instead of cell blah blah blah, instead of using this thing here, which arbitrarily is 400 milliseconds right now, we're gonna use the long input timeout from the main app object. And we need a cage. Yeah, and I think 500 milliseconds is probably what kind of works well enough for touch. Yeah. But now it kind of does all the things I wanted to do. And I'm glad I added this timeout thing. I think it makes a difference. Alright, let's clean this up. Let's make small surgical changes. Handle move, handle cell hold. Okay, so we added toggle cell, we added handle cell hold, which is our little handler. Probably won't need that. This got turned into this function. Cell paint mode is handled in input up, which is fine. Yep, that's fine. And toggle cell, handle cell hold, toggle cell, clear timeout, toggle cell clear. All right, I think that should be fine. And that concludes our little to-do item up here. Cages. Cell delete should happen after short or before mouse up. That's done. Cool. So now we can say cage cell editing does not wait for mouse up. Here we go. Well, I'm not even, it's not even multi-touch. I'm not even using multi-touch, right? In fact, somebody sent me a message today, this morning or yesterday, about they wanted to submit some patch to my code to support multi-touch for, what was it? I think it was Chameleon. Multi-touch cell selection for mobile device. And like he says, it's an easy win, and it's like, it's easy in principle, but then it's all the edge cases and little details and stuff that screw you over. I don't think so, because there's no harm to being in drag mode versus not being in drag mode. Like, and I mean, I could change the cursor, I guess. Like, I could use it. It's maybe not a bad idea, actually. Traditionally, it's... The thing is, traditionally it's the hand, the grabby hand, you know, the mouse cursor changing to a grab hand. The thing is, until the timeout expires, I don't know yet if you're gonna grab or not. Until you're moving, right? We could try something, right? So drag start happens here. The problem is, you see, it happens instantaneously. But dragging doesn't necessarily happen right away, right? Drag move. That's the other thing, right? Drag move also potentially fires prematurely because it doesn't have the dead zone calculation. The dead zone calculation happens in the individual tool. So each tool kind of, because these move by one set at a time, so the dead zone is already built in. See what I mean? But it might make sense that by the time drag move kicks in, we'll do something like document dot body dot style dot cursor equals cursor, and I think it's called a grab or grabbing. And it won't happen here unless we do this. Nope. Cursor pointer. But why is that a... Here it's grabbing, pointer. Cursor pointer. All right, so it could be dot query selector dot grid dot star dot cursor equals grabbing, something like that maybe. I think it's confusing right now. Thought about reducing opacity of the outline, kind of like when you drag files and they go translate. Yeah, the problem is then you're immediately running into problems because you don't know what you're looking at, right? Like if you want to do it universally, you don't know what kind of outline you have, what kind of object you have. You know, it's SVG, so, you know, I mean, you could change the opacity of the whole thing, but then how does it interact with the background? Like, it's very hard to predict if for something this free form. I mean, I could change the existing select color, but like, how about a grabby cursor? Then we'll drag stop would then become equals nothing. Wait a second, what? And we could change it to a hand when we're over the object as well. I mean, that's, you know, it's a fairly small sort of visual usability thing. I think, you know, I'm pretty far away from feature completeness. I think I should go there first. I mean, yeah, some of the stuff I'm doing seems like, but there's a big difference between, to me, between the feel of it versus the look of it, right? Usability, like, I don't like the little circles on the lines, the way they look. I don't like it at all, but it's good enough for now, you know? I think the cursor move has those little four-way arrows. I'm not sure if I'm too fond of those. I guess it's more explicit. I mean, the grabbing is also very common as a grab this thing and move it around. The problem is by the time it kicks in, you're already moving. Like, it doesn't... And there's no cursor on touch either, so it's not like it's going to be universally useful. Oh, why is this not doing that? Do you see that? It's not updating the cursor here. But it doesn't actually switch the cursor. That is odd. What if we don't turn it back? That's weird. So it's the pointer. I'm moving it. And if I move it quickly, the cursor changes. That's a little odd. I mean, in reality, you also want dead zone handling and all this other stuff in here. Like, why is the cursor flashing here? Let's see. This is an overlay. Does this have its own cursor? That's the other problem, right? Is like where the style's being set. Pointer events, none. That's not it. Position. Cursor. It's like, I wish it was a little bit reliable. Like, I wish it would just, you know, tell me where these come from. Pointer.grid, move, element.style. So you see that the cursor is clearly not that, but I don't know why. We're clearly over the grid. Is there something else that's overriding the cursor? Yeah, you see, it's supposedly the element I'm over, which is this one, has a cursor of move. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. I'm gonna be messing with this right now. I think this is something for a final polish pass. Because maybe other things kick in by then and make this all a little superfluous. Because ultimately I might actually have proper handles on screen as well. It should change the state after that 500 milliseconds, even if I haven't moved yet. Huh? But it's the other way around. After 500 milliseconds, you lost your chance to move it, right? I think it would be more confusing if you get a movement cursor when you're trying not to move, when you're trying to click on the thing, and then the movement cursor just goes away, and then suddenly you can't move. I think that would be more confusing. If it was the other way around, I would agree. If it's one state first, and then after 500 milliseconds it changes, and then you can visualize that, sure. But the visualization is that the cell disappears. You see what I mean? The thing is, you can move right away. It's just after 500 milliseconds you can't move anymore. And change the cursor then to not be the movement cursor. I don't think that's super useful, because people don't... that 500 milliseconds isn't supposed to be noticeable, right? It's mostly for touch controls as well. Like, if I didn't have to deal with touch, you know, this would be a right-click kind of thing. Or a control click or something like that. I mean, I definitely want to use the cursor later, you know. And even handles, like resize handles and stuff like that. I think I've seen places where you could just take the line and drag the line over. I don't think it's super useful, because cages aren't that big. I think even drawing the cells is a little, you know... I mean, what I could do with a cage is, like, I could literally have a movement handle in the center, kind of like you have in a drawing tool. Like a visual indicator on the screen where you have to take the thing to move it, rather than just being able to grab it anywhere, which can cause problems with collision detection anyways, right? Like, hey, oh wait, you know. Well, if you have a cursor that you, or a handle that you can grab, you know, like in a 3D application, your little red, green, blue arrows, then it's a lot more explicit about what's gonna happen. Alright, I think I might try to pick one more item from our list. Something really small, and then I'm gonna have to have lunch because I'm starving. Maybe what I looked at before. So thickness, I think, already works, yes. So let's have a look at the overlays. So the size. So let's do one of the overlays, overlay editing things, and see if we can get that to work. Oh, this shouldn't be a thing. you know, core functionality. Let's get those done. Yeah, sort of. Basically, originally I had click to edit the cells. The problem is that meant that the moment you clicked on the cage, you now no longer were on the cage because now you've deleted the cell and you couldn't drag it. You couldn't grab that cage to drag it. Then I moved the add delete to the mouse up event. So if you put the mouse down and released it, it would delete the cell. If you put the mouse down and moved it, it would drag and then disable the deleting. The problem is it felt a bit weird because sometimes you would click on a thing and then, or especially with touch, and just kind of nothing would happen, right? And deleting it after a short timeout feels right to me. It feels good. Now the problem with that is if the timeout is too short, then you can't drag the cage anymore, right? So I think this is a good compromise because first of all, if you make a mistake, you immediately see what happened, right? If you touch it and you pause for a moment to think about where you're going to move it, and then you delete the cell, you just click again, and then you're good, you know? It's a very easily reversible action. So I'm not too concerned about that. And right now it feels pretty good. I mean, a lot of this will just then be usability tested and tweaked after the fact, you know? It's final polish type things. But let's have a look at the overlay. No, the underlay. I think underlays on the other side, the ones at the bottom. Make sure this is, that's fine. Because these are underlays. Ah, no, these are overlays? Really? Huh, could have sworn these would be underlays. All right. Or am I... it could be that currently I'm adding underlays as an overlay. That is a possibility. Because overlays and underlays are structurally identical, they're just in different layers. Component, overlay component. So get component data. No, it only returns from overlays. Okay. So update inspector. And then I think update props, update inspector. Update props. So if I do this in the line and change the line thickness, it fires update props. Okay. And here, I guess it'll do the same thing. Update inspector. Update props with 10 update inspector. Okay. Width 10. Center. Update row. Ah. I see. Okay. So if we do a case row, and output the center here. Break it down. Here we go. Update val. Okay. Update val. Click here. Oop. Where did I break? Center has already been declared. Center. Really? I can't do that? All right. Normalize RC is not a function, or its return value is not iterable. What? To draw RC update val. Update val. Update val 12.5. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. So, of course, yeah. Because I copied the code for something that was taking 2 dimensions, and now I just have 1. So, update val. Let's see. Let next center equals. We are looking at rows. So that would be our, you know, next center. And we're just gonna put this in there. I think that'll get us there eventually. Yep. If center and center equals update val break, fair enough. Okay. And then we basically want to do all of this, I guess. We can just output dr/dc, dr/dc, delta row and delta column. And it probably won't let us do that here. Why am I doing this with the deltas? Why am I not just straight up setting the value? I don't quite understand. This seems unnecessary. All right, I think this is unnecessary. So, I think what we can do is instead is next center 0. Don't even need that. Times CS. I think that's what we really want to do here. And then we can do set these. $2.75. I have a feeling I'm mixing up rows and columns here. Row, update val, new row, next center, previous center, next center. X is column and Y is row. There we go. Select this guy, make this a yeah, I know. I'm still getting used to yeah. Oh, and center is updated for, so I do need center after all. That's annoying. For dragging. I also don't think the delta stuff here makes sense either. Oh man, do I really have to pre-declare all of these? God damn it. So, say this. Next center, next center. Next center, next center. And then we basically want to do this here. I don't see why I need the deltas here at all. I don't think I need those. Oh. I do need those. God damn it. That's so bizarre. Why? How is this different? From not doing that. Okay, and this does not update the inspector correctly. Update inspector is not being called. Where is update inspector called from? Handle inspector change. Oh. Update inspector. Update inspector. Update inspector. Update inspector. Update inspector. Inspector, update props. So update props probably should be calling update inspector. This dot update inspector. Right. So I'm guessing update props isn't calling this thing here. I guess we'll just have to do it manually. Alright, so these numbers are updating now. And if I change this to 6.25 yada yada yada. That's weird. All right, so one problem we have is that the moment I type something here, if it's not a valid number, or if it gets updated, rounded, etc. So you can't type in peace, basically. So I think that's a little bit of a bigger change. So basically we want to, and I don't think I'm going to do that now because I'm getting really hungry. So let's see. Allow editing of wrong values without instantly updating of values without instantly updating inspector, i.e. type 1.2 in peace. Okay. But the basic functionality is there. So excuse me. So if we go in here, so it currently lets us type that in. We can do all of this. We probably want to streamline these. So I'm tempted to just loop it around and just call update inspector recursively here. So what if instead of doing this, the problem is if I call it recursively, this thing will get fired more often, which might not be what we want. So what if I do this dot update props center to this, and then it comes back down to center here. So I can grab this, I can drag it down here, but I can also change this to 2. The hell? What the hell, man? So what happens is the update inspector fires. Why doesn't this update props do the trick? The frick? All right, we gotta see where the, because component manager gets update inspector here fired as well. What the heck is going on here? Select this. 2. Call 2. Update inspect. Why does this get fired before our recursive call happens here? Console.log row to center. Yeah, the thing is, at the same time though, I like the fact that I can do this. Or, you know, later on I want to use a scroll wheel, right? But it might be, I might have to handle that in a different way. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was testing it on column, and column doesn't actually have the thing yet. Okay. Okay. So then I should be able to just do this and swap these around like that. And I think that should be all there is to it. All right. All right, and let's see if we can do width and height as well while we're here. And let's get rid of the update inspector spam, because that's just very, very annoying. 594. Oh. 974. Case width break. All right. Update text box content method. You can make and I'll check if the text box is focused, and if yes, return. If it's not focused, I'll set value to content. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay. 10. Width 10. Okay. Now, here we have a bit of a problem. Well, not a problem. We just have to handle this specifically, right? Because an overlay element, can it have more than one element as part of it? Let's find out. So if I create an overlay here, I think overlays cannot. Yes, they can when they have text on them. So the width specifically only concerns itself with one aspect of it, right? So here it's fine. But for example, something like this is also an overlay component. And here we have a bunch of different ones. Okay. And as far as I know, the text could also have a text background with it. Yeah. So there's potentially two kind of rectangles in here. And I don't know which one I'm addressing, basically. So if it's text BG, we don't want it. Okay. So let's start filtering. Ah, fun times. This is such fragile, brittle code. I'm really not happy about writing it. I need to come up with a better way of doing it, even if I hard code the understanding of each kind of component. I mean, in this case, I think I can, because these are all CTC internal format, right? And everything else gets converted to them. So, we want to filter by class names, right? And by lm.tag name, I think. So lm rect class name. Class name? Alright. So filter lm.tagName equals rect. That's our first filter. And now we want to find the one where and lm.class name SVG animated string. That's a huge pain in the butt. MDN class name. I think it's class list, right? Class name. Class list. Class list. Base toggle add. So and class list dot contains and not contains text bg. Text bg. So if I click this, type something in here with 0.15 and nothing to change. Now the problem is these actually do have a width. So we do want to change the width, but we don't actually want to affect any elements here. Okay. So then here is where the magic happens. Width, height, yeah, pretty much. I mean, update inspector is a method in the component here, right? So the component can do whatever it wants to do here. Basically, the components are pushing updates to the inspector explicitly. So, in this case, we want to push parse float. I'll just do update val equals parse float update val. Times C. Now, CS. I'm tempted to round this to like a couple of decimal places. Like 3. 2 might not be enough. Well, no, 2 is enough. 100th of a cell. Maybe we can do this. Something like that. And then output this again and see where we get up to. Let me check Twitch chat because I'm not on my... Oh, I am on. Oh, the shared chat seems to work right now. All right. So, go in here, put a 0 in here. Oh, look at that. Okay. That seems pretty big. But this... this does not update correctly. Oh, because we're not actually changing the value here. All right. What do the props look like? I don't even know where it's stored in the props. Props, center, height, width. Okay. Actually, we can just do this then. Props dot width equals update val. Now, currently it changes it relative to the left edge rather than the center. While I believe in the actual editor, it's all center based. Yeah, yep. It has each component class has a create inspector function, which basically has the inspector HTML in it, basically, more or less. So that way we can have a completely custom inspector per component. Obviously, what I want to do over time is to create some sort of standard stuff. So let's say, oh, a color selector, a width and height, sort of high levels thing. Hey, I have a list of properties with these kind of mini inspector components, you know, color editor, two-dimensional row column value editor, that kind of thing. But at the same time, we only have like 10 different properties or something to edit. So it's not like, you know, it's not like Unity 3D where you have to edit a huge variety of things. Although in the future, you know, who knows? Maybe make it expandable, let people implement their own things and so on. Although, I mean, boxes, lines, circles, you know, maybe pills. Like, there's only so many visual elements you want to cram on a 2D grid. Hey, shall we leave? Morning. I mean, for me, it's afternoon. In fact, I'm overdue for a lunch break. I just want to see if I can finish the width and height property editing here. So, I mean, right now, like, I can simply follow this down, but for now, I'm happy to just kind of jam it in there. Okay, so that's that. That's that. And update val. And then this is height. So that should let us... So for example, for width and height, I'd like to be able to drag from the corners. Or some sort of handle, resize handle. So similar to the line tools, I could have handles on the edges and then or in the corners and have them be draggable, you know? Like, I'd like to be a full-blown visual editor. Yeah, but that's a start. Yeah, because it's basically 0, 0, right? It's a zero-based coordinate system. Actually, I might just for the editor modify that. That's a good question, actually. I think it's also the difference is that I think my objects here are positioned in the upper left corner, while the objects here in the old editor were positioned from the center. So, for example, if I put this, if I make this 1, 1. So yeah, I think it's because I adopted the coordinate system from the original editor. I might have to change it, like translate it both internally. I don't want to change it, right? But I might translate it for that if it makes more sense to the user. I haven't even considered that. I mean, right now I'm just replicating the functionality of the CTC editor. But yeah, that's actually a thinker. Where's my thinker list? Should grid be reorigined? Oh, I hope that is a word. If it's not, I want my name attached to it. To center of cells. Let's find out. Yep, at negative 0.5. Now that's the other thing, is that that clues can be wherever they want, but I have a predefined margin around it in my when I'm rendering the puzzle, because right now I'm just editing what the player is rendering. So I need to have a way of enlarging the outer space for people to place things further away, because the original editor just lets you place it anywhere, right? Because it doesn't have a rendering canvas. So I need to resize the canvas, like zoom and pan and all that sort of stuff. Let's just finish this off. I think this is enough for this update. So let me just make sure these aren't these make sense. So then we have 952, right? And then we have center being pulled out of the props here. That's fine. Next center. Next center. Ah, we can actually do that here now. All right, row column was added. It's just redirecting to updating the center prop. Width and height, like this, we might want to have a joint size resize thing here as well, similar to this one. And we have some logging in line 1093. Here we go. All right, let me just quickly check that the other stuff I did here still works. Okay, that works. Oh, that didn't work. Wait a second. I do this, and then I do... now it works. All right. All right. This still works. This still works. These are overlays as well, right? So I could make these bigger. So I could make this 3, and this 0.5. No, 0. Yeah, so this is the problem, right? So 5.0. Yeah, we definitely need to fix that. And now I can't drag it anymore. So I think what happens here? I think is that our there's some caching happening, and I think I might not be invalidating the caches correctly. Get bounding box. BB bounding box set dirty. I think we have to set it to dirty. Line component arrow underlay overlay. Update props. I think we'll just do it down here. For all of them. Just even screw it if we invalidate the cache for no reason, right? So I had the problem that I couldn't type in what I wanted to type in. Like that. And now I can still move it. Okay, so it was a cache invalidation problem. All right, I think I've seen that elsewhere. So these are just rounded corner rectangles. So that's another issue potentially, because the rounding of the corners is relative to the original size, I believe. So if I do this and I make this 2 by 2 and then I say round it and then I change it to 1 by 1, it looks like this. Well, this one looks like this, which is not quite correct. Ah, so we need to update the radii. Yeah, and stuff like this, I hate pulling that code out of here. Cell size 1 minus border size. And border size comes from there. And the border size... Alright, I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to put that in the to-do list. So overlays. So let's see. Overlays. Update. Rounded corner radius when updating width/height. All right. Where are we now with the logging? I mean, it's not completed. I'm just kind of trying to work my way towards having the core features working all reliably, and then I can start because there's a huge bunch of stuff still missing in terms of board size and how to handle, you know, creating new puzzles and certain other things, you know. Yeah, and stuff like that. Oh, well, I guess here you just delete that point and then that would be... Oh. That's a bit weird. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking near the edge. I had a feeling that if I moved it a little bit, not enough to move the point, that it, yeah, all right. Small glitchy behavior is definitely stuff that I'll have to look into and sort out. But being able to do something like that, obviously thermal bulbs not being attached to the thermal and stuff like that, these are other issues to be resolved, and maybe not resolved in the first release either. All right, and then cages. I didn't screw anything up there, right? They still work. I missed the sound effects. I made a special version with sound effects once. It was kind of fun, actually. All right. And I don't know if I have any really complicated puzzles that I can use for testing. Oh, yeah. But now I can change these. Except it's still difficult. Let me put a note down for that. I did a inspector, scroll, read number, input. Yeah, let me move these up because these were just more general notes, while this is like sort of specific to-do items. Makes more sense to have them up here. Scroll read number, allow editing of values without instantly updating inspector. Yeah, okay. Rounded corner radius. All right, I think this is a nice little update. So edit overlay props to inspector width height row call. All right, I think that's it. I'm gonna take a break, have something to eat, and then hopefully have some more energy for later today. But depending on feedback, I don't know if I'm gonna be full on working on the editor this week because I really want to get the pen update out. So if there's any bug reports or feedback or whatever, and to be honest, one thing I really would like to do is setting up, create a video for it. And I'm currently considering to do it as like a set of shorts, one for each of the options. So 5 options, 5 shorts, you know, 5 minutes of video, just to try it, just to experiment, learn a little bit about doing shorts and videos and stuff. I haven't really done many videos, so it's still pretty scary for me. All right. In the meantime, by the way, beautiful puzzle here. by James Sinclair, you should really check out Artisanal Sudoku by James Sinclair. It's a really nice newsletter he's got going on with a couple of puzzles every week. Very nicely done. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging out. Really appreciate it. It's nice to not be here on my own all the time. And take care, and hopefully see you in the next stream.